Hello, friends. So you may have noticed if you've been looking over the introductory documents that this class does not use traditional grading as a method. It uses something called labor-based grading. You also could think of it as contract grading. The whole point of it is traditional grading. Well, it privileges some people and it holds other people down, right? So maybe you're taking this English class because you have to have a certain number of credits in this area to get your degree and so on. But you know that English has never really been your thing. Reading, writing, yeah, your gifts in life lie elsewhere. And so you come into the class maybe without a bunch of skills. And then someone else is in the class who basically was raised in a house where reading was the thing, and writing is just like the thrill of their lives. And so you're basically one person's here coming into the class, one person's here. How do you both have exactly the same opportunity to achieve the grade that you want from the course? Under traditional grading, you don't necessarily. So with labor-based grading, you are entirely in charge of the grade you receive in the class. This also takes away some of the mystery. In traditional grading, lots of times it's like, what does the teacher want? Or you get a score back and you're like, 7 out of 10. Why? What should I have done differently? It's a mystery. You're not clear on why you got the grade. Sometimes you think, well, it's because the teacher doesn't like me. And it can be really frustrating. And also it's frustrating from the teacher point of view because it's like, I want y'all to be as happy as you can be here, to be come in. And I want clarity for you, and I don't want this class to be a source of frustration. So with labor-based grading, like I said, you are entirely in charge of the grade you are going to receive in the class. It all depends upon your choices and your behaviors, okay? So if you've looked at the content page in the class, there's every week, and you look down the left-hand side and you see the table of contents. Every week, there are instructions for what you need to do, and it's standard. It's not changing week to week. It's like, read the stories. For 2 of them, you'll do the discussions where you annotate documents. And for 1 of them, you'll write a reading log where it's just like you connecting to the story. Here's what I see happening in the story. Here's a theme. Here's a thing a character does. In my own life, I've experienced the same kind of thing. Or, you can tell me a little story. For all of this work, I'll say it one more time, please don't use AI. Please don't use AI. I can't take it. Bring your real self. Be messy. I don't care. I like the real you. So you will look at the instructions, and every week it will tell you pretty much the same thing. In the annotations, like the discussion assignments, where I've put you in a small group and you have the story in front of you, if you would like an A for that activity, you will add a minimum of 6 annotations to the document, and they will be thoughtful and intelligent and like show some true effort, okay? So six annotations. If you want to be, you will add at least 4. You'll add 4. If you're like, I'm here, C's get degrees, give me my 3 credits, you will add 2 annotations. So basically you're scaling up how much you do based on the grade you would like to receive, okay? That's how it works for the annotations assignments. Little side note, if you do 6 annotations and you're like, I did 6, it should be an A. But when I look at them, you've written like 8 words total. Did you really invest yourself? Is that really worth an A? I'll probably come back at you with a message and say, yeah, you have to actually earn it. Effort is required. So I'll give you another shot and say, you want to go back in and put a little more into those, please. But if you've kind of put yourself into them and you've really put thought and you've typed some stuff there that's showing up in the margins, you're good. You're all set. And then for the reading log each week, when you look at the instructions for the reading logs, each week there are 3 prompts in the instructions, okay? If you're happy with the C in this class, you just do number 1. Finished. If you want the B, you do 1 and 2. If you want the C, you do 1, 2, and 3. And the difference basically is if you only do number 1 and you're aiming for the C, you're writing about 300 words. If you're going for the B, you write an extra 100 words. If you're going for the A, you write another 100 words on top of that for a total of roughly 500 words of writing in response to the 3 prompts. So with all the assignments in this class, You make the choice. And it could be some weeks you were like, I am so stressed. I am strapped in my other parts of my life or my other classes. This week I can just do the bare minimum. I'm doing the C work this week. But all the other weeks you go for the A. It's probably going to average out in your favor. I mean, no guarantees, but like sometimes you can choose to do a little less. Sometimes you can choose to do more. We'll see how it sifts out at the end of the semester. I have seen most students under this system just decide like, I'm happy with the B or whatever. And every week they just do the B amount of work. It's clean, it's clear. Everyone feels like we understand what we're doing here. Okay. So that's how the grading will work. In terms of the scores in the grade book, for the A, if you've done everything you need to do for the A, you get a 9.5 out of 10, pretty much on the assignments. For a B, you get an 8.5 out of 10, and for a C, you get a 7.5 out of 10. So that's what shows up in the grade book. So you're in the middle of that grade range. I mean, think about it. Like if I gave you a 10 out of 10 for an A, what would I do to give someone a B? I can't give them 9 out of 10. That's an A still. I'd have to give them an 8 out of 10. So we go from a 10 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10. So we're splitting the difference. So you land firmly in the middle of the grade range. Also, that doesn't tip you mathematically towards the top of the grade range, and then you do some weeks where you do nothing at all because you're like, I have cushion. Don't listen to that math part if you don't like it. So if you have questions, confusions, whatever, always feel free to message me. Love to hear from you. Love to get to know you one-on-one. But I hope that by the end of the semester you feel like, yeah, this was somehow more fair, and I feel like more okay with my grade than I sometimes have in other classes. All right? Have a good one.